Thanks to the support as a channel member, Joshua Connor. Well, 3 pieces of housekeeping to get us up and running today, boys and girls. Yes, I got some new hair product in my advent calendar. It makes my hair look wet. Look, I feel like I'm in the 90s. I don't like it, but I've got to use it up. I'm a frugal guy, so leave my hair alone. 2, I am no longer poorly sick. I was a little bit sick over Christmas. I am now fine, so streaming should return to twitch.tv/LOLLUJO tonight. And thirdly, yes, I did get the intro wrong yesterday. Did I mention I was a little bit sick? This should be the correct intro coming up now. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 9 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games for you in the Championship against Middlesbrough and Norwich. A championship, I might point out, we actually might be in very real danger of winning. Now, those of you who've watched Non-League to Legend over the years will know that as much fun as it will be to win promotion to the Premier League this year, based on last year's Non-League to Legend when we had a very similar run with Peterborough, it is likely to end in disaster because there is not a chance that this squad and this club are ready for the Premier League. So if we go up, we're going to come straight back down again, which has already got me thinking ahead for the January transfer window and possibly in terms of trying to strengthen to, you know, start to put together a team that could potentially survive in the Premier League. The only problem is we've got no money, absolutely no transfer budget, no spare wage budget. So the chances of us doing that fairly slim. And when several of our key players are on loan as well, we're going to enjoy this season while we can, because if we do go up, next season is going to be miserable. This season, though, the opposite of miserable. Look at that run of form we've been on. We are a good team, playing very, very well, and I am having a lovely time. We're 4 points clear at the top of the Championship. We are a good side. Let's go and continue to prove it against a team that were in the Premier League last year in the shape of Middlesbrough. They're down in 10th place this season, so not had the best start to life back in the Championship, but they did win this division a couple of years ago, so they are a team that we should be taking seriously away from home against Middlesbrough, and this is the team we are putting out there. We've got Nichols in goal, a back four of Schaefer, Roche, I think we've agreed it's Roche, O'Brien and Darlington, White at the base of the midfield, Villagra and Chong ahead of him, then Woodburn and Alejandro out wide with Ida up front. Roche is playing at the base of the midfield, so I don't really have anywhere to fit him in elsewhere. I get he's one of our better players, but we're actually starting to hit that problem that you get when you put together a really good squad where you can't actually fit everybody in and rotation starts to become a little bit of an issue. And Pascozzi, who's been a regular starter, not fully fit today, and Deshaun Bernard, who we spent £1.7 million on, both not even on the bench, demonstrates just how deep this squad has become. The only problem is, like I mentioned before, it's deep with very good Championship level players. We're doing a Norwich. We're putting together a team that is too good for this division, but not got a hope of staying up in the division above, I don't think. I know it's very early to be talking in terms of next season's relegation, but, you know, we're playing really well. Have you seen the league table? Have you seen the form that we're in? We're a very good team. Now I've started talking positively, you can guarantee it's about to go wrong. I speculated in the last couple of episodes that the good form wouldn't continue, so of course it did. Now I'm telling you the good form will continue and we're going to win the league. I imagine that means the rough run of form is about to start. Roche, what's he doing there? He didn't seem to have a plan. He's just stood there with his foot on the ball. Used to playing in midfield and being closed down, I guess, and being forced into making a decision. Ida brings the ball down beautifully. And it's 1-0, and all credit to Roche for just standing there on the ball. Nobody's pressing him, so just stand there with the ball and wait for everyone to line up where they want to be. And it's got everyone into position, so we can just then pick the ball over the top. Schaefer is the one who actually plays the pass over the top for Ida, who brings it down beautifully. The form he's in, there's not a chance he's going to miss an opportunity like that. And of course, he didn't, and it's 1-0 to Preston. I still can't believe Adam Ida was here doing nothing when I arrived. It is forever going to be a source of confusion for the remainder of my life how Preston North End managed to get that guy on a free transfer and not get him scoring any goals until I turned up. It's bonkers. The AI in this game sometimes, it identified the right player. I mean, this was a mid-table Championship squad when I arrived. That's why we've managed to jump up the league so quickly, because it's had such a number of high quality players already here. they just weren't being used correctly. We've just added in a little bit of extra quality, played them in a system that suits those key players like Ida. And what do you know? We're doing really well. Who'd have thought? Good work from Woodburn, who plays it forward to Chong. Chong bursting out of central midfield, goes past his man. I think he probably should be looking to square that for Ida there. Decides to go it alone, and his shot goes high and wide, or possibly just high. It was difficult to tell from that angle. I'm not Hawkeye. I shouldn't be expected to know whether that was high and wide. Is that what Hawkeye does? Do they still use that in football? I know it's a cricket thing that I know they used in football. I don't think it's branded Hawkeye anymore, is it? Much sadness. They're in behind here, though, and Nichols comfortably collected. Nichols is definitely a player who, if we do get promoted, is going to need an upgrade. I mean, he's been a huge improvement for us this season, but he's still not at the level of Woodman, and even Woodman probably would be a fringe Premier League player. I think if you're going to be in the Premier League, you need a really good goalkeeper, and I don't think he is one. Right, Sunjic is going to come on in this Mezzala role. With Ida playing as well as he is, this is the role where Sunjic is getting more time than anywhere else. We're not in any kind of rush to force this boy into playing regular football. I'm quite happy just to bring him off the bench at playing in that role every now and again. What we are going to do is bring on Suwanrat, who hasn't played for a little while. By the way, remember when Suwanrat was an English wonder kid, or not a wonder kid, but a good English youth player? He's now a full Thailand international. He's given up on playing for England already. He breaks into our team, and the first time an international country. Probably don't need the word international there. The first time a country comes calling, he's like, yeah, I'll play for you. Go for it. I'm not English anymore. It's fine. Right, we don't have a left back to bring on, which is less fine because Schaefer is tiring. Harvey White is also tiring. We can bring on Buonanotte for him. Actually, we can't. Or can we? Vinagra can play back there, can't he? He can. And then we can shuffle them around in there. And I think that will probably do. You don't always have to make all 5 substitutions. This is another thing that I've learned as part of this turnaround in our form. Sometimes it's fine not to make all your substitutions. We are still only 1-0 up. Another goal would be nice here. I'm acting as if it's the most comfortable victory in history, but we have just been completely in control of the game, even though we've not run away with it. We're just very comfortable. We're in excellent form. And it's up talking to Norwich. Play them now. Let's go beat them as well. Of course, this is another feature of this good run that we've been on. We have been rotating a lot. I mentioned yesterday, the only player we don't really have, a player we can just swap straight in for, is Ida. And that's definitely something I would like to address. Micah Beerith would have been a wonderful sight. In fact, how is Micah Beerith getting on? I still wonder. I mean, it's obviously we don't need him. We're top of the league, but he would have been, how do you spell his name? He would have been ideal to be. They've done an Ida with him. We'll be able to pick him up for 2 million in the summer. Not that we'll probably want him for the Premier League, because that's where we're going to. Hold on, what on earth? That could ruin everything. We're a month away from the January transfer window, and Lazio want Ida. That could be a problem come January, but let's let that be future Kev's problem. What I was doing is showing off at how good our squad rotation is. Nichols is probably the other one we don't have a backup for, but everywhere else we can just rotate at will. It's only been a couple of days since the Middlesbrough game. Watch an almost completely different team beat Norwich. Beck comes in at left back. Bernard comes in at right back. Pascozzi back in alongside O'Brien at centre back. Whiteman coming in at the base of the midfield. Vinagra stays in alongside White in central midfield. Woodburn also keeps his spot, but Chong moves up onto the right-hand side, and Ida, of course, starts up front. It means we can give a rest to a lot of those lone boys who we are trying to see if we can live without, because one thing with the rotation and with the playing players in multiple different positions, and I'm basically dealing with this like a streamer showdown squad, giving everyone opportunities in all sorts of positions, just experimenting to see who can do what, work out what our squad depth situation really is. The kind of thing you do when you're in mid-table, and then it works and you accidentally end up top of the league. But what was I saying? Yes, I shouldn't have had any time off over Christmas. It's ruined my brain. But the one issue with doing that is when you have players in on loan, their parent clubs get a little bit grumpy that you're A, not paying them enough, playing them enough, or B, playing them in positions other than the one you agreed when they came in. So all of the parent clubs of all of the loan players are a little bit grumpy, and we could lose one or some of them when we get into January. And if we lose a couple of the loan players and Ida in January, all of a sudden it starts to look less smooth sailing to get us through the rest of the season. So that's probably going to be tomorrow's problem. But for now, we would quite like to beat this Norwich team. I've talked a good game about rotation and beating teams anyway, but that was a bit of a nothing first half. And now Norwich are starting things off in this second half with an attack, but Pascozzi deals with it comfortably. And now O'Brien to Bernard. Bernard, not really a right back, can play there. Not really ideal there, but that's good work from Ida. Flicks the ball on to Chong, I think, or he could have just distracted the defender. The animation wasn't clear. Either way, Chong ended up through on goal. Wasn't able to finish, though, and Ida ends up out on the right-hand side trying to cross it in for Chong, and that, frankly, is the wrong way around. Bernard's been done a little bit at right back here, as you would expect him to be, but luckily we've got Nichols in goal, and he is just Mr. Safe Hands, comfortable goalkeeper, no problem at all there. Norwich have got a very good side, by the way. For the Championship, this is a very, very good side, and we're not doing too badly to be level with them. On paper, this is a team that should be beating us relatively comfortably. So I'm comfortable with a draw here. I don't mind that at all. Ida and Woodburn, two of the players we haven't rotated today. This is the problem with playing a higher tempo system. It's a slightly lower tempo system. This is the problem with playing 2 games in a week, I guess. 2 games in 3 or 4 days. The ones you don't rotate get tired anyway. So we are going to bring on Mikey O'Neill up front again, even though you saw it not work in the last episode. I've seen it work again since. 4 starts, 4 goals for Mikey O'Neill, all at centre forward. So he definitely can play there. And we're also going to take off Woodburn, and Danny Hudson can come on that left-hand side. And I think we'll squeeze one more change in for now. And I think it's going to be in central midfield, where we're going to take off White and bring on Buonanotte. But we're actually going to bring Chong back into central midfield and put Buonanotte on the right-hand side. We're going to offer a little bit of encouragement and see if a slightly shuffled around front 4 can maybe deliver us the goal that we haven't really looked like scoring today. Although Norwich have got a counter-attack on here, and we need to get the challenge in. They've played it back, taken the sting out of their own counter-attack and gave the ball to us. Well, they did win it back again immediately, and they've done well to slip it through there. And there is Norwich's goal. Maybe I've got a little bit too carried away with squad rotation, and we've got a little bit too big for our boots. Although, to be fair, you saw what happened with the players we didn't rotate. They got tired early. So I think we were right to rotate. We maybe have done too many players in too many key positions and experimented a little bit too much. Maybe Bernard at right back wasn't the best idea I've ever had. But we need to try him there to see if he can do it. Now we know not to put Deshaun Bernard at right back. Some of you might have known that already, but I've learned it. We've learned together. Right, we are going to bring on Suwanrat for Chong. Bring Buonanotte back into central midfield, and then we don't really have any other midfielders to bring on. So I guess we'll just take off Bernard, who we've criticised a fair bit. Bring on Darlington to play right back for these last few minutes. We're going to demand more. We're going to hopefully grab an equaliser. Darlington, by the way, still only 17 years old. The man's been 17 for nearly a year now. It's remarkable. He does turn 18 before next episode, I think. But what a talent he is. Probably played 30 games for our first team before his 18th birthday for a team at the top of the Championship. That boy has a big future. Suwanrat with the cross, drills it over to Danny Hudson. Talking of players with a big future, Suwanrat came for our own youth system. Danny Hudson, still only 18 years old and really starting to look like a Championship player now. And that was good football to make it 1-1. And it is the youth. And this is what should give us hope looking ahead for next season, whatever league we're in. Not only have we got a team good enough to currently be top of the Championship, but we've got a bunch of 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are on the verge of being starting players for us already. And when they do get the opportunity, they play well. They create goals. They're looking like they fit in. This club has a very bright future, boys and girls. Don't be misled by the fact we've only drawn against Norwich there. That was a very good Norwich team. And importantly, we are still top of the league. Priority now is to survive January with Adam Ida still at the club. We've got a lot of games to play in December before we get there. But tomorrow's episode will be the January transfer window, Operation Keep Adam Eder. If you've enjoyed that, leave it. I can't remember. My brain, I've mentioned I was ill. Clearly, still not back to 100%. I've done like 3,000 YouTube videos over the years and couldn't remember how to end it. If you have enjoyed it though, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. This is a disaster. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching. Do you like my thing, by the way? It's my new thing. I got it for Christmas. It's cool, isn't it?